Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Balasubramaniam, working as Assistant Professor, the Department of Zoology, Government First Grade College and PG Center, Chintamani. Today, we are going to see the continuation part of the birds or aves. Now, in the last class, we saw the general characters of aves or birds. Now, in a small topic, we see the differences between Ratitae and Carinatae. And this belongs to the Bangalore North University. And the program is B.Sc, third semester. See, here we see some of the birds which are referred to as the flightless birds. Now, in the aves, we have flying birds as well as flightless birds. So, flightless birds are considered as Ratitae and flying birds are referred to as the Carinatae. And the continuation of the previous class, say birds are considered as the masters of air by Young in 1956. Now, the birds are the most fascinating group of vertebrates with reference to the behavior, anatomy, morphology, instincts and parental care. Now, when you refer to the behavior, we find so many types of behavior in the case of the birds. Like for example, nesting behavior or mating behavior or singing behavior, or like for example, marking the territory, alarm calls and the singing calls, or whenever this mating happens. So there is the anatomical internal features and the morphological external features and instincts. So that instincts refer to the innate characters. So these are the genetically these characters are present in the genes. So therefore the instincts are innate characteristics. Like for example, so to say, the parental care is one instinct and incubation is another instinct, and protecting the young ones from the enemies, that is another instinct, and parental care is well observed in the case of the birds. So here another different types of the birds we see: the kiwi, emu, ostrich, dodo, cassowary, rhea and penguin. So these are different examples of flightless birds. Now what is meant by Ratitae? Ratitae refer to the flightless birds. So they are not able to fly. So therefore they refer to as the Ratitae or flightless birds. So here the differences between Ratitae and Carinatae topically. Now the wings are more or less degenerated and not used for flight. So here in the case of the Carinatae, the wings are well developed and so many types of feathers are there, like for example down feathers, counter feathers, phyloplumes and different types of the feathers are there. But here in the case of the Ratitae, the wings are more or less degenerated. And now the wings are not used for flying and therefore these are referred to as the flightless birds. The sternum or breastbone is the keel, which is less developed and raft-like. So here in the case of the Ratitae, the sternum is poorly developed. Now, unlike in the Carinatae, the sternum is well developed, and the sternum is a place for the attachment to the flight muscles like pectoralis major, pectoralis minor and coracobrachialis. Now in the case of the Ratitae, so here there is no flight muscles because these birds don't fly. So therefore the sternum or breastbone is keelless and raft-like. So here it is not well developed as in the case of the Carinatae. Now skull is a dromiognathous. That means the vomer is interposed between the palatines, the pterygoids and the basispedal rostrum. So therefore the skull is a dromiognathous. Further characteristics of the Ratitae. So Ratitae, here the birds are discontinuous. The birds are discontinuous. The Ratitae are discontinuous. What is the meaning of discontinuous? That means the birds are found in only particular confined areas. Like for example, they found in the New Zealand or found in Australia. So they are not cosmopolitan distribution, unlike the Carinatae. So Carinatae are cosmopolitan distribution. That means they are found worldwide. All over the world, these Carinatae members are found, but Ratitae, the presence is discontinuous. They are confined to the only particular areas. So therefore, the occurrence of the Ratitae, the presence of the Ratitae is discontinuous, confined to the particular regions. Further, this differences, the clavicles are small or absent. The clavicles are small or absent. Now, these birds are very big in size. Unlike the Carinatae, the birds are small in size. Now here in the Ratitae, the birds are big in size. Comparatively, the birds are very big in size. And these birds are walking in nature or running in nature. So they don't fly. So just they keep on walking or running on the land. And these birds are terrestrial. Unlike the Carinatae or aerial, now these birds are terrestrial. They keep on walking on the land. Now, except the old rheas, emus, and here, the ilium and ischium are not united posteriorly. So, ilium and ischium are free. The pygostyle is never present. That means the tail region, the pygostyle is never present. The birds have free barbs and the barbules are without hooks. So, the feathers have free barbs and the barbules are without hooks. So, this is another feature of the Ratitae. Now, further characteristics of the Ratitae, except a few organisms, Ratitae members, the oil glands are absent. The pteriliae are not regularly arranged. So, these pteriliae are nothing but the feathers, not regularly arranged. The male has penis. So, that means the male has the copulatory organ. Unlike the Carinatae, they don't have the copulatory organ. So here the males possess the copulatory organs. Further, the young birds are always precocious, that means independent. So unlike in the Carinatae, they are helpless. Carinatae birds are helpless, that is the young ones after hatching out from the eggs, they are helpless. But here these birds are independent or precocious. Further characteristics of this Ratitae. So here these birds, so to say, they have long necks and legs, long neck is there, and the legs particularly, the legs are very long and strongly built. The legs are strongly built, and main purpose of these legs is to keep on running or walking on the land. So these are some of the characteristics of the Ratitae or the flightless birds. Further, we shall see the general characteristics of the Carinatae, or what are the features of the Carinatae, or the flying birds. See, flying birds, the wings are well developed and almost always used in the flight. So wings, like example I told, these wings are different types of wings are there, like the contour feathers, the down feathers, the phyllophlumes, etc. These wings are well developed, and these wings actually they form the interlocking mechanism, and this interlocking mechanism helps in the birds to keep on flying in the air. Now whenever these wings are spread, they form a sheet-like structure, so there is no gap or there is no the air entering into the from one region to the other region, from higher to the lower or lower to the higher. So in fact these wings are concave in the lower side, on convex above side. So it forms like the wings are like example, like the wings are like parachutes. So they're convex, that is they're dome shaped above, and below there are concave. So there is a thrust, the concave region. So because the concave region is there in the lower side of the wings, there is a thrust, the air used just to lift the bird automatically above the air. So just the arrangement of the wings is so much so peculiar or so much interesting that the spreading of the wings itself drag the bird above because of the nature of the wings. And further, the wings are supported with the feathers. And the endoskeleton is very hard, pneumatic, and very less bone marrow is there, and the bones are very strong. Okay. Further, the sternum or breastbone is provided with the keel or carina. That's why they called carinatae. So keel or carina is present. That's why they called carinatae. Now this keel or carina provide the place for the attachment of the flight muscles. So there are powerful flight muscles in the case of the flying birds. So which are the powerful flight muscles? I told before itself. So there is the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, and coracobrachialis. So these are the three powerful muscles. So which help in the birds keep on flying in the air. Further, the metabolism of the birds is very high. So they can convert the efficiency or the conversion rate is 1/3. That means if the birds consume 100 grams of seeds, they can convert this 33% of this seeds to the useful energy. So that means the efficiency is 1/3. So 33% of this food is converted to the useful energy, while 67 is of so-called waste. While in the case of the mammals, we are efficient by 1/10. That means for every 100 grams of food we consume, so 10 grams convert to the useful energy, while 90 grams goes as a waste. So in that respect, the birds are more efficient converters of the food to the useful energy. So the birds have high metabolism, particularly the flying birds. The skull is not myognathous. That is, the vomer is not fused with the bones of palatine, and the palatines articulate with the basis sphenoidal rostrum. So skull is not myognathous. The sutures or lines of union in the skull are almost always disappear at very early stage. So when you talk about the general characters of the birds, so that's what the skull bone is smooth. So there are no sutures, or so to say, some stitches like structures found in the case of the skull. Now, unlike in the mammals, we find the suture-like structures, particularly in between the frontals, parietals, occipitals, and temporals. But here, in the case of the birds, the sutures are absent. So here, there's so much union is there, so much fusion is there in the case of the birds. So many bones are fused in the case of the flying birds. So flying birds, there is a synsacrum, and there is heterocoelous vertebra, and these bones are very strong. Bones are pneumatic. All these characteristics are there in the Carinatae, while the bones are not pneumatic in the Ratitae. The bones are not air-filled or pneumatic in the Ratitae. That is the difference between the Ratitae and the Carinatae. And further, the quadrate articulates the skull with the double head. Further, the scapula and coracoid are connected with each other by ligament only, and two small bones meet almost at right angles. So this is another characteristic of the Ratitae. And the clavicles are well developed in the case of the most cases. So the clavicles are well developed and they form the V-shaped furcula. The V-shaped furcula is found in the Carinatae or the flying birds. That's why the clavicles are not well developed in the case of the Ratitae, but in the Carinatae, the clavicles are well developed. The ileum, ischium, and united and enclose the sciatic foramen. So ileum and ischium, that is the part of the pelvic girdle. Ileum, ischium, and pubis are the parts of the pelvic girdle. So here this ileum and ischium are uniting in the case of the Carinatae. The pygostyle is usually present. The pygostyle was absent in the case of the Ratitae. Now here the pygostyle is present. And further characteristics, the birds, Carinatae, they are small birds, very small birds, and boat-shaped body, The barbs of the feathers are usually united and the barbules are with the hooks. The eye glands are usually present and pterygae are regularly arranged. So in the case of the Carinatae, the birds are maybe herbivorous, carnivorous or omnivorous. And in the Ratitae, most of the birds are omnivorous. So here, in the Carinatae, the birds are herbivorous, carnivorous or omnivorous. Further, the males rarely have the penis. So in the Ratitae, the males had the penis, and here the males don't possess the copulatory organ. The young birds may be precocious or altricious and dependent. That means the young birds, that is the birds which come out from the eggs, they are helpless. So they require the parental attention. So to say, these birds are fed with the food by the mothers for some durations, maybe 15 days to 20 days. And gradually the feathers are developed and the eyes are developed and the birds start flying independently after a certain duration of parental care. And examples of this Carinatae are the flying birds. There are so many examples are there: pigeon, crow, eagle, ostrich, kiwi, emu, kingfisher, swan, hornbill, night heron, swanbill, and stork, bustard, etc. So to say, these Carinatae are unique with reference to the itself. The Ratitae and the Carinatae are different in some respects. So that is what we saw in this topic. Further, parental care is well developed, and these amniotes, both this Ratitae and Carinatae have amniotes. And examples, the references of these topics is particularly vertebrates by Arul Paul, that textbook, very informative textbook with reference to the birds, and chordates by Jordan Verma, and vertebrates by Kamanataya, vertebrates by Dame and Dame, vertebrates by S.N. Prasad. So this is about the differences between the Ratitae and the Carinatae. Thank you for listening.